Hey, I appreciate you being part of the Academy. Make sure that you save this website on your home screen so you don't gotta go on the browser and type it in and do all this other stuff. Just go to the Academy member page and then bookmark it as an icon on your home screen. You can look up how to do that. I don't want to go through the tutorial, but it'll just make it easier for your access. So then, when videos are coming out, you can always watch them and then just right there, and you don't got to go through a bunch of stuff. But appreciate you again for being in the Academy. Many more videos to come. This is the first one that I put out since self-hosting everything. I've had to go through a bunch of different hoops to do a lot of different things. So I really appreciate you being on here. I really hope these videos are helpful. Don't forget to check the forum or use the forum if you want to type some stuff in there. I'll check it when I can. I'm trying to set up automated notifications and do a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, enjoy the video. See you later. So I always say, whenever you set a screen, it has to matter. Like, you can't do frivolous screens. Everything has to count and everything has to be a threat. So if you look at this off-ball screen right here, like, they scored off of it because it was actually a real threat for this to work. And so whenever you go down to set that screen, it has to be contact. So you see him right here. He goes down. I'll slow-mo it. He goes down to set the screen, and you can look. He makes the contact for a second, and then that's when he goes. In the signal to backdoor, I always say if you run past the person guarding you. So if you're a screener and you end up running past your defender right here, that's your signal to back cut because you already got him beat. So you can clip him right here. You don't have to set it as clean. You just got to pretend because you're already past this guy. That means there's no one left between you and the rim. And even if he does try to guard, you still have a step on him just based on that rule. And so understanding that rule, that's how you know you're going to be open. Because now he's lost. I don't know if they communicated this. It didn't look like it. And then he also is reading it. So if you got the ball, you also have to know the rules. Because if only one of you knows it, then it's not going to matter. So he realized it as well. And then he made that pass. That's what made it an easy bucket right there for him. So now we got another ball screen happening on the side right here. And I always say on the ball screen, you got to stand a little bit behind the person you're trying to screen. That's the only way it's going to work, because then it forces them to either go over and it's a respectable action, or when they go under, the distance is so far that this person's just going to be wide open. And so if you watch right here, look at his stance. He's right behind that defender's shoulder, and it creates an angle so then the ball handler can go right off of it. And then the ball handler goes off tight and attacks this help person. Now they have no choice but to stay there. And then that's when you can pop right here. That's the good option to pop because both are dragged over to the side. And then he just passes it back. This closeout is way too far away. And that's just an easy bucket. And so when you set that screen, get a little bit behind him, you'll be able to see it right here. There it is. He's right behind that shoulder. Defender, if he wants to fight over, he's going to get clipped. Now he ends up behind. He has no choice but to help right here. Then kicks it back. Wide open jump shot. And here's an even better look at this screen right here. He gets behind the shoulder. Look at him. He's screening right here. So he's not just standing next to him. And what it would look like for a bad screen is if this defender's foot right here, if I can highlight it, if his foot was between the screener's feet, that's when you know you're setting a bad screen. But if you're behind him, like right there, and you're outside, the outside of your body's hitting the outside of his, that's the perfect screen, because now when he goes, that defender has no choice but to run into it and end up behind the offensive player. And then that's when you get that kickback. So setting those screens, I'm telling you, you have to set it the right way or it's not going to work no matter what you do. And I always say it doesn't matter what you run. If the screens are bad and the cuts are bad, it's not going to work. So you have to work on the fundamentals of those things and how to do those things properly. Then you can run whatever you want and make it work. Now we got this screen happening right here. And as a screener, I'm not a fan of the peel and run. So how he just turns his body and starts running, I don't like that because it takes away from being in open space. Because there's an opportunity for him to be open if he were to reverse pivot. So imagine right here, he pivots the other way. He can sit in that gap. Like if I go back, I'll show you the gap right here. After that, if he were to just reverse pivot into this space, that can just be an easy bounce pass, or they can both attack. He should be farther down in the corner to get his defender away, so he's too close to the action. That's another rule. If there's action like this going on the screen, you need to get away from it, as far away from it as you can to create spacing, force your man to help, and then you'll probably get the ball. But this peel and run stuff, man, I don't like it. Everybody's teaching it now, and they say it's faster. They say it's so you don't get a foul call. I've yet to see a foul call on a roller ever since somebody told me that, and I've yet to see the peel and run be effective as a reverse pivot. So I'm always going to teach the reverse pivot because it keeps that defender on the side they need to be on. But since he turned and run, he lost leverage. Now he's guarded. So the screen was pretty much worthless after that. And so I think that should always be a reverse pivot into the space. Look, that's the perfect screen that I talked about earlier, where he's behind the shoulder. Watch again. So it's not a good one at first, so he's patient for it to get set perfectly. Now he's behind that shoulder at that angle. Look at his foot angle, right? His body's facing diagonal. It's not just facing sideways. That's the biggest thing. A lot of people got to change on their screens. And then don't peel and run. Just reverse pivot into this gap right here. He'll throw the pass. He'll probably help. That's another pass to a shooter. And then, the offense is going to be effective. So now we got another screen at the top, a ball screen right here. And I'll show you how to make this a little bit more effective. So what should happen, like he had the right idea of when they get that switch to post up. But what should happen, for one, he shouldn't be running the baseline while this is happening. So if there's action happening, you got to stay away from it. Don't do an action that's off the ball that destroys the main action. It has to be complementary. So he should lift because the ball is going away, right? And that would put his defender around this area because he should be right here, putting him in a situation where is he going to help on the roller or not? And then he would have to decide is he going to help on the roller or not. Now you got a shooter out there, or you got a swing option right here. Now on this screen, again, I think he should reverse pivot because that's just going to be easy post-up position for him. And so I will show you what happens. So now that he just turns and runs, he has no leverage to post up because this is where the post-up should happen, right there. He should already be posted up, but his footwork off the screen was wrong, and that automatically puts him in a bad spot. And so instead of catching the ball right here, now watch. They had the right idea, but look, now he gets pushed out. Now he's 13 feet away from the basket, and there's no way I'm throwing a post player the ball at that spot unless their name's like Carmelo Anthony or Kobe Bryant or something. Like top 10 scorers of all time can score from this area. I'm not throwing it to anybody else, if I'm being honest. So that should have been a post up down here. But again, this guy's action messed it up initially. It could have been a lob even, just catch it over the top of this guy because he's probably a few inches taller. But he got in the way, so if I go back, instead of him standing right here, if you're going to be there, sit in that slot, but don't move across because now you just brought this guy in to help. And so even if he wanted to post up, even if he wanted to throw this over the top right there, that's a steal. And so imagine they're both out here, and he can just throw that because look at the positioning. The defender's behind. He can look for the ball. And then right there, that's the pass right over the top. But again, helps in the way. He's not even looking for it. His footwork is off. And now that he goes over to a poor post-up position. So the small details, I'm telling you, those are the things that are going to matter when you're setting these ball screens. Everything matters. This off-ball screen was perfect. Like if you watch it right here, sets that down screen, they go under, he reads it. It's that simple. And so setting these good screens, man, and this is the rule. Like if you're here and you're using it, as soon as you see your defender go under, pop back out. It's that simple. So just knowing those simple reads, and as a passer, again, I'm going to always emphasize this, you got to know the reads too because you're the one delivering the ball. So if you don't know what the read is right here and you can't tell, even if he is open, he's not going to get the ball because you didn't know, right? And then this is a perfect example for all you people setting the screen. If they do go under, turn your body because, again, he has to go all the way around. So turn your body and almost re-screen him. And then there's no way he's going from there to a closeout. That's just way too easy, way too open. You see, so you'll watch him again. If I go back, watch him. Here he is. Sets that screen. As he goes under, he just tracks him. He's like, I'm going to screen this guy no matter what. I'm not just going to a spot. I'm not just standing over here. I don't going over here like I don't care. He cares about getting his teammate open, so he sets that proper screen. And he throws it early. That's another thing for you passers. So I'll show you when he throws it. Right when he starts to pop out, you got to let go of that ball. So if you watch it right here, here's the passer. Look when he's letting it go. He's not set yet. So it all has to happen at the same time. He has to catch the ball as he gets set, because if he catches it too late, the defense got over. He's not going to get the shot off. So him throwing it at this time, ball's in the air as he's getting his feet set, that's perfect, because now he's going to miss out on it. And sometimes what will happen if you throw it too late, he fights. Even if he goes under, he gets there in time, and now he can get a tip on that pass. And so that's what happens a lot of time, because he ends up in this position by the time they even thought about passing it. And so passing it early and on time, like that matters as well, because even if the screen is good, if it's too late, then he's just going to get there on time and tip the pass, and then he's not going to be open. So all three of them are working on perfect timing and setting the right screen and reading it and passing it right in the pocket. Like it hit him right in the hands. Watch when he comes off. Directly in the shooting pocket. That was a perfect pass. So all that stuff matters, man. All the things that your coach says and all the cliche things, you got to do those things right if you want to be good at basketball. In this situation, there's about to be a ball screen happening at the top, but I want to go over this like super quick. I just want to throw this in there. There's no way he should have won this battle to the rim. And this is where the foot speed comes in. I always tell people this, like, how? There's this giant lane. There's no way that he should have won that battle. And I can't tell if he really wanted it. Because I think he just went too wide. If he goes a little bit more straight, that's a layup. That's a clear layup. He has him on a step. But, again, that's where the foot speed comes in and the aggressiveness comes in. And you got to win that. You got to get to the bucket on that. That's too easy for you. But now let's look up top. All right, here's this ball screen right here. Now what I like, again, is this angle. This is what I'm going to bring up all the time, is this angle. You got to be behind that shoulder. So I notice he's not just standing next to him. This is a mistake that I see at a high school level all the time, is the screener is just standing next to him sideways, and then the defender just fights over or under way too easy, and then nothing works. Now, the reason this screen didn't initially work is he got scared off by the hedge, but also it's too crowded. Why is he coming up? This is conflicting actions. So if they're going towards you, you should not be moving towards them. That should not be happening at the same time, unless you plan to backdoor and it's a setup or something like that. But when there's this action happening, you got to go away, get out the way. Like, so right here, what should happen? Let me go back. It didn't pause fast enough. At this moment, he should be moving all the way down. He needs to clear out or something. You got to get out the way. Both of y'all got to scoot down here. Get one in the dunker, one in the corner. I don't care what you got to do. Get out of the way of this. All right. For him, you can't be spooked by this soft hedge. The hedge is not hard enough for you to freeze. So if I go off this screen, he's got to attack it a bit more and go right at this big and force him to do something real. Because when they stick their hand out like that, it's not a real hedge. It's not a real switch. That's the signal. If they just stick their hand out, it's to spook you. But if their body's moving out towards you, that's when it's real. And then he can slip into space, and then he can space out right here, and he has to make a decision. Is he going to guard the roller when he comes down, or is he going to stay with the shooter? You see it? So watch what his body language was when he saw that hedge happen. Watch, as soon as he attacks it, he backs up for a second. So he goes, and then he got spooked off by this hedge. And then there's way too much space between the ball handler and the screener. Now the defender's just fighting through. And so these small details matter. You got to go off that screen tight and make this post actually really hedge or really switch. But don't let them spook you with the fake hedge. And you got to kind of know the coverage too. Like if they've been fake hedging, that's something you want to talk about with your team. But again, he got in the way. It was just kind of all bad. But I think initially the setup was decent. The screen angle was good. It just wasn't executed perfectly. Another pick and roll happening, and this is where it's a bit more of the ball handler's fault. Like, you got to get downhill, but again, you got to stop as a team. Like, don't run your actions towards the strong side. I would never run an action towards the side with two people on it. There's two people right here. For what reason are you running action over there? All the help's going to clog it up. There's no space to do anything. That should not happen. So that's just rule number one. But this is a perfect, again, that angle, man. I'm going to stress that angle. If the angle's not right on the screen, it's not going to work. I don't care what play you run. That's just number one. Now, He went off just close enough to get a step. He was a little bit far away, but it was just close enough. And so right there, he had the step on him, but he has to make that decision to get downhill. So if you look at the play that I showed before that, he had a chance to get downhill and he didn't. So that just might be him personally, like he doesn't know how to do it or he's not confident and get to that basket. But right there, you win. If you're even with the defender, you win. So he has to turn that corner and go straight. But again, it's hard because it looks clogged to him. So from his perception, what he sees is guy here, dig, help. So his thought, he's not even thinking I should get downhill because there's no space to. So imagine I eliminate this guy, right? He should be on the opposite side or something like that. He shouldn't be right on the wing as the pick and roll is going towards him. He has to get somewhere else. And imagine it's only him. Now all he sees is this, and he sees a bunch of room. So instead of just passing to the corner, he actually makes this a real attack and makes him play honest help because now he passes it too early. I'll show you. Yeah, he got rid of it before he even got into the lane. I think he should have at least got here, force him to commit, and now that's a easier shot. But he still made it, but I don't even think, like for him too, I think the defense just reacted super late. I don't know how he didn't see that coming. It was a soft closeout. Like, I don't know if he can shoot or not. I don't know the scouting report on this dude is. But for him right here, once he picks the ball up, you no longer have to be in help. So he should be jumping out to that. He could probably get a hand on this, to be honest, if he's smart enough to anticipate it. Sometimes I just don't know the scouting report on these dudes. I don't know if he can actually shoot, but this was just a late reaction and a soft closeout, and so that's why he drained it. We're going to get the same read that we had earlier, but I think they should have just made that play. Like, that should be by far the play because now you know the coverage, right? They've been switching this 2-3 plays in a row now. And so now you got to start making adjustments based on what they're doing. Don't just do whatever you want. And this is partly on the team, but it's mostly on the coaches to tell them, like, yo, they're switching. This is our answer for them switching. We're going to abuse this until they do something else. So if you look right here, right, they ran it to the weak side. So this is what I'm a fan of. There's two people on the right. So they ran the screen the other way where there's actually space. And then he stayed out the way. This was smart by him. Right? You don't want to scoot up and bring your defender and mess up the rotation or anything. But right here on this screen, right, if you know they're switching, you put the small on the big and you force them to guard the post. So watch. You got the guard right here. Here's the big setting it. Or a bigger guy. I don't know if he's a big. He sets that screen. That's a post up. And look, it was off the reverse pivot. So this is what makes me excited about a ball screen. It's just, I'm telling you, the reverse pivot is undefeated. I've never seen it lose. He screens, look at his feet, reverse, post position is picture perfect. He has to throw that ball. There's no one behind him. Even if he helps, he's going to be too late because he's too far away. That has to be a pass, but he wasn't even looking to seal for position. He kind of called for it, but he's not even fighting him. That should be an easy post up. He should be looking to pass that ball. That should be 2 points. And so those are the actions you got to abuse if you know that's what they're going to be doing, because they've done it 5 possessions in a row. So there's no guessing anymore. It's just this is what they're doing. This is the answer. And every action, every defensive action should have an offensive read to it. Like there's always an answer to anything the defense decides to do coverage-wise. And then the answer for this is just let them switch, reverse into space, either get it right away like he had the position right away. If I can go back, see he's acting slow. Yeah, throw it right away right here. Like throw it, he could just run, dunk, or get down here to the basket, bam, post up, and catch it. Like this, I don't know what else they're deciding to do over here, but it's not the right decision because this is an obvious decision right here. You got to make those decisions. Coach got to be on point and tell him this is what we're doing, except nothing else. Let's look at this press break situation really quick. I want to go over this while I see it. Okay, this is perfect. When you catch it, don't dribble right away. That's the rule. Just be patient. He sees his teammate's going to be wide open because if you look right here closely, the guy guarding the inbound, Cooper, is not looking at the ball, which this is why I'm not a fan of putting your back to the ball on inbounds. I don't see it play out well much. I honestly don't. I don't know how people still do this. But right here, he's playing kind of center field, which it's not all bad. But once it's thrown in, that's over with. Like once it's thrown, you got to be able to see it if you're going to put your back to the ball. You have to be able to see it. So he turns his head and looks, but for some reason he's not aware enough or quick enough to realize he's going to have to cut that off because that's going to be an obvious pass and run. Now right here, what he did wrong, I'm gonna let you give a chance. I'm gonna give you a chance to figure it out what he did wrong. But this is like guard play 101, right? If you're in front of the defender and you have the ball, you have to take their lane. Like right here, he should be doing everything in his power to dribble in front of Cooper Flag to keep the advantage. Because think there's 3 defenders back here, which means there's 2 defenders left with your 2 offensive players. So there's 3-on-3 back here, right? Like, I'll take the light on. I turn the light on. There's 3-on-3 back here, which means there's 2-on-2 in the front court. If you take advantage of this situation right here, it's going to be a 3-on-2 because you put him in jail. That's what they call it. So he should run right in front of him, cut him off. And now imagine he's still cut off at this point. Cooper's still behind the point guard. One of them, they got to make a decision. It'd be that simple. So he should be attacking the basket, like go until they stop you. He's even right here, he hasn't even stopped him. He's not in front of him. So for what reason is he slowing down? I don't know. He should not be slowing down right here. That's full steam ahead. Force the help, make the kick out, which I don't think he should be standing in the corner. I think it should be down here on the block for an easy layup. But again, this 2025 basketball, you know what I mean? But it's all the guard's fault. You got to cut him off in the backcourt to make it easy. But I don't know if he got spooked. I just don't know what his thought process was. Y'all seen Chris Paul do that 1,000 times where he runs in front of the defender and acts like he got hit by a car. Like, you got to do that. Get in front of him. Even it's a foot race to the basket. It's a foot race to the help. That's what I say. Force them to help. If you don't help, I'm laying it up. So there's certain moments when you can use your teammates to throw the pass to the roller, and I think this is one of those situations. But it takes a high level of awareness to see this type of stuff. And so we got the back door right here. If I go back earlier, he's coming off this screen, and he back cuts, right? And he just stops looking. I don't know why he wasn't looking for this back cut. He overplayed. This is just awareness by everybody, right? Even when he catches it, he could still pass to the cutter. Like right there, he could still probably make this pass. I'd throw like a bounce pass or something like that. I don't care what pass. As long as he gets there, I don't care. Because he's open. But this is a situation where awareness comes into play. So he has to know that the cutter came through, which means he brought his defender. So once he comes to set this screen, what he has to do as a ball handler is you got to watch to see what this defender is going to decide to do, because this is their coverage to hedge or whatever they're doing. And so instead of throwing it to the roller because the help's just sitting, you can throw it to him, and what it would do is drag the help out. He has no choice but to guard the ball in this situation. So if he catches it in this situation, help comes out, and then as he rolls, he's wide open because he's ahead of both of the defenders that stayed with the ball. And then, their late reaction would help him get that layup. And so seeing small stuff like this, it's just awareness. These things are super hard to see at a young age, but studying the game and being taught the right principles of how to read just the backside help on a roller, that'll let you know where to pass it, because then that signal is, okay, if the helper's here, where's his guy? His guy's here, I'm passing it to his guy since he wants to help. Brings him out of help, then he makes that pass, or he's just stuck down in help and he's wide open for a jump shot, either one. But those are the type of things that you can start to be aware of, and just using your teammates to pass to rollers. And then it makes guarding the ball screen a lot harder. So here's another situation where reading the help is important, right? They set that angle screen, worked out perfect. But look, there's a tagger right here. This guy. That's the same guy that helped last time in the last play. And so what should happen is you got to see that as the ball handler and be able to make that pass. So let's watch it. All right, so again, that angle, that's a good angle. Let's go back so we can watch it closely. It's going to be right over here. He said 2 good ones. If you get this off-ball screen, you got to cut to the basket on these. Don't just go away frivolously. This is what I can't stand sometimes, is when people do an action for no reason. He's open. Because think, he's not even worried about this cutter. He's worried about this second screen about to happen. And so if you look, imagine instead of him just running away, he runs to the block. That's open. There's nobody there. He can throw that pass from up there. That's a layup. And so take all these actions seriously and use it. If they're trailing you, you go to the basket and see if you can get something out of it. See that as the ball handler, like it's your job to see the entire floor. So you got to learn how to do that. But then this screen right here, this is a good setup. The angle, again, he's going at this back shoulder. This is how you got to set these screens. So then that defender, when he gets hit, he has no choice but to go over. He can't just slide and beat it. Now right here, as the ball handler, when you're going in that lane, your job is, okay, can I attack? Maybe. And I wouldn't mind if he wanted to shoot that jump shot. He has to stay out the way. This stuff's going to drive me absolutely crazy. You can't come up when this ball screen's happening because, look, you're bringing your defender up. Stop running these to the strong side. Please. This is going to drive me nuts. Okay, get out the way. If you're over here, get out the way if they're going towards you, please. Okay, so he's starting to attack. Because, look, now you're just causing a dig. But then, here's the tagger. Guess who's open? Shooter right here, right? And so all these things you can start to see. Imagine if they just run these right every single time and they got the proper spacing, and this strong side person, just stop running it to the strong side, and just do it right, and be able to see the floor and make the reads. Because the reason I'm so I get so pissed about it, because there's only so many things that can happen. And so if you know all the coverages, you can then know all the answers. Therefore, you can know how to read it and what you're looking at. And you could just make the decision and manipulate and say, this is what they want to do. If they want to go over and soft hedge every single time and tag, okay, I'm going to put my best shooter on this side. So when the tagger leaves, I'm going to skip it every time. And he's going to be open every time. And he's going to have 10 threes this game if that's what you want to do. You know what I mean? And I'm going to stop bringing my guy up to mess this play up, and I'm going to keep him out of the way, and we're not going to go to the strong side. So it's just being strategic, because this is there's 11 minutes on this clock, so it's 9 minutes into the game, and I know both teams' coverages at this point. So I'm going to call a timeout, and I'm going to say this is their coverage, this is exactly what we're doing, or it should be on the scouting. Both teams have played 2 games up to this point. I don't know if they're covering everybody the same, but there's some way where you should know this is the coverage, and we should have an answer for that. You know what I'm saying? That's my thought process. I have an answer for everything. If you study the game, if you're a Division I coach, you should have an answer for everything. And then recognize what you guys need to do, recognize how they're covering it, and run the appropriate action for the coverage until they adjust and just abuse it. That's what LeBron does. That's what makes him so good. He will run the exact same thing every time down until you make an adjustment. That's what makes him so good, because he knows okay, this is their coverage, but this is what I want to do. And then we're just going to destroy the coverage until y'all change. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes great players so great. It is the skill, but the skill complements the decision making. So you might have the right decision. The skill finishes it off. The skill puts the ball in the basket. You know what I'm saying? The skill makes the pass. But if you don't even know to make that pass or take that shot, it don't matter what skills you have. So that's what it's going to come down to. And you got to know these coverages, and you got to say, this is what we're going to do, and you got to do the right thing. Even on out of bounds plays, you got to read all the screens properly. It's still, you're not just running to a spot, and I think that's the mistake number 4 made right here. If you watch this, he's coming off. You recognize the first switch, and then you recognize how the switcher is going to play. So the switcher goes underneath the screen. He should have stopped right there. That's your shot. Staying right behind your screener, that's wide open. But this is when players start to get robotic, when the game gets fast and you get tired and all these other things are happening. You stop reading it, and then he fought under and he just met you at the spot. And so these are the type of things you got to know and you got to stay on top of. And this is why it's important to keep your mind sharp and stay in shape, so then when you're tired, you don't forget these reads. And it's just second nature, because this is what makes Steph Curry different. Steph Curry's not missing this read. Klay Thompson's not missing this read. There's not any NBA shooters that are missing this read right here. That's the easiest read in the book on the out of bounds play. Y'all should know this in the scouting report. Y'all should know this when you run this in your shoot around and your practice. You should know. Coach talks about switching. Okay, if they switch right here and he goes under, stop behind the screen. That's going to be your shot. That's what you know. It's not about guessing. It's not even about reacting. It's knowing. I know this is what I need to do. That's how you gain the certainty. That's how you gain the IQ. You know the answer. You don't guess. You don't react. You know. I know he went under. I know I got to stop. He knows that. And that's what it should have been. Now he's covered.